Hello, and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 271. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only, Too Fresh Crash. Crash, how are you?
Hello.
We're here.
We are here. That's a good way to put it.
We are here. Honestly, that's what people keep on asking. Like, the people that do ask me, they ask me very regularly, like, oh, how you feeling? And I'm like, I'm here. That's honestly all I could say to people. People are like, oh, you must be playing so many video games. I'm like, I can't even look at a screen for more than half an hour without feeling sick. So, no, not playing too many video games. But you've been sick as well, which has been like
a
crazy
it's
one.
I might have had COVID. We had a conversation last week where I was like, don't have COVID, definitely not COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly as the week progressed, I started getting more and more COVID symptoms. Possibility that it was still the flu. I got tested yesterday, so I should know in a day or two, but yeah. Wasn't a fun experience.
No,
It's not a fun experience.
Yeah, and I can kind of talk. Like, obviously, I'm better than I was a week ago, when I recorded episode 270, which was just, it was like a 6-minute talk of me just talking nonsense. If I'm being, I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did. I don't know anything. It was just a case of, I said to Haley, turn on the computer. Haley sat at the computer for me. She swung the microphone over to near the bed, and I just sat there and spoke for a second. So I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did. I hope I was, I hope I worded things correctly. I hope I wasn't too flippant with the way I spoke, but whatever it was, again, who knows? We'll see who's still here this week, Chris. Who knows what the numbers will be like anymore? Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't know, My Xbox and Me is our weekly Xbox podcast right here on youtube.com/myxboxandme, and of course, all podcast services. You can get us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all of the, all the big ones. We're there. We're still there. Still be with us, I hope. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Who knows? Honestly, that's like, to get real for a second, that's been like the hardest thing for like all of this, which is like everyone telling me stop stressing about work, stop worrying about work, stop talking about work, stop this, stop. And I'm like, that's very easy for you all to say when you all have traditional jobs, number one, with sick pay and things of that nature. And then you've got me, which is like, you miss a week, you're done in this game. Like, realistically, like you're done in this game. And this is the thing that I always say to people, and people get very annoyed at me, content creators, smaller content creators, which is like, the market doesn't care. I always say that to people. And people will tell me like, stop tweeting, and people were saying, stop thinking about work while I was in the hospital. I was like, the market doesn't care that I'm in hospital. The market will pretend to care that they care that I'm in hospital, but they don't care. Again, My Xbox and Me may be a little bit different, to be honest with you, compared to Twitch streaming is very much like that. Very much like that. And so is Patreon. Like, Patreon's very much like that as well. My Xbox and Me, we'll find out. We'll see. I don't know how many of you guys listened to last week, but we'll see. We'll see who's here. But either way, the show must go on, The show must go on. Like, have you played anything, or have you been too sick to play anything as well?
I was too sick to play anything.
Yeah.
I really didn't have the option. I tried sitting down a few times to play games, and it's just like, I couldn't even, like, I had trouble watching TV. I had trouble listening to music. Anything I would normally do for comfort, it's just like, I cannot do you. It's too much of a hassle. It's too much trouble to actually do it.
Exactly the same as me. Music was a big, music meaning like any sort of loud noises would ripple effect through my entire stomach, which, don't ask me why, but it just caused me to not be able to do absolutely anything, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's give a shout out to our Patreon producer, who is still there, and I am very, very thankful for Mr. Erengard himself. Erengard, thank you very much for the support and being a Patreon producer on this week's episode of My Xbox and Me. All right, let's get into topic of the show this week, Crash. Topic of the show being the Xbox the Xbox. Xbox could be an app on your TV within a year, says Phil Spencer. Head of Xbox Phil Spencer says he thinks Xbox will release a smart TV app used to play games with no console required, quote, in the next 12 months, end quote. This was all taken from an interview with The Verge on their Decoder podcast. Spencer was asked what was stopping Microsoft from releasing Xbox as an app for a smart TV that meets the requirements of minimal hardware specifications. The answer seemed to be nothing. Quote, I think you're going to see us do that in the next 12 months, replied Spencer. I don't think anything is going to stop us from doing that. They add on here, which is he sees the future of Xbox as a hybrid of inbuilt computing power and streaming. Quote, this is from Phil as well. When we think about xCloud, which is our version of Google Stadia or Amazon's Luna, I think what it needs to evolve are games that actually run between a hybrid environment of the cloud and local computing capabilities, and that they can actually take full advantage of the cloud that's there and that's available, but also full advantage of my edge computer capabilities that I have at home in the console. It really is a hybrid between both. He later on continued to say this, which is, I don't think the outcome is by definition going to be everything becomes a terminal server in my house and all my games are just running completely in the cloud. When we think about the evolution of our game platform, it's really more of a hybrid gaming platform between edge and cloud that we are shooting for. Crash. That's kind of what we've expected for a long, long time at this point, right? Which is Xbox are playing their own game. Xbox have come out and said, well, Phil has come out and said specifically that he's not playing the console game anymore. He's trying to fight Google and Amazon. He keeps saying it in little ways now, and he's just reiterated it again here in this interview, or this podcast, I should say. Is that the right way for Xbox to be doing business, do you think, in the year 2020 and beyond?
I think, yeah, because like streaming is like the most unique thing Xbox has in terms of like its most traditional competitors of Nintendo and PlayStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is the streaming, right? And even when you read this quote, it really sounds like they're viewing Stadia and Amazon as their competition, and what they have one up over them is the console, right? Which is a really interesting way to look at it, where normally somebody would probably look at it vice versa, like, oh, their consoles and the streaming is the addition.
Yeah.
And this really is, it's basically what we've said, where it's like they want their platform on as many spots as possible, but the best place to play their games will be their console, right?
I suppose you'd say their PC. But yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, for me, this was an obvious one. I wonder. I've always wondered if it would be a stick more than an app, and not because they needed the stick for the capabilities of what they're doing, but I think that's an easier sell to people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that? Where it's like, here's a streaming stick over, here's a app on whatever product TV that you can get your hands on. But I like where they're going with this. I like where Xbox is, again, ecosystem, all the stuff we've said so many times before. To me, it's just interesting because we're actually going to see it play out now. We're finally getting to that point where we're going to see what Xbox looks like without having a console, which is which in whatever year it comes out, this year, next year, will be next year now. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how well it works as well, which is the important thing. How well does it work? Because I'll be honest, even being in hospital, like that was the one thing where I was like, I wonder if I had xCloud, would it have worked in the hospital? I had Wi-Fi, I had data as well, where I was like, I thought about it for a second, and I ended up not even playing my Switch in there, so that was like a never gonna happen type situation. But I did think for a split second, like, oh, I wonder how well it would work right now. Like literally, this would be like the perfect time, right? You're meant to, I'm in a bed recovering, and I still want to play games. This is the perfect time for something like this. So yeah,
Right.
it's just it's going to be an interesting one, but it all comes down to how it works, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Also, like this you touched on a stick as well earlier.
Mm.
This doesn't necessarily mean that they won't make a stick, right?
No, yeah,
This
no,
just means that there will be an app coming for smart TVs. I would be surprised honestly if maybe it's not something they make right away if a stick doesn't come at some point from them. That might not be like Xbox specific. It might be like a Microsoft version that like you can get your Netflix on it, your whatever you want on it, and then a main feature of it would be also the xCloud.
mm, I'm gonna derail the show for a second, Crush, and be like, I know you said I
Okay.
look like crap. Remember,
Yeah.
remember before the show where you was like, dude, you look like crap. Remember that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Do you not notice anything different?
You're wearing a beanie.
No, not that. Yes, I am wearing a beanie, but that's not
The
the thing.
glasses.
I got new glasses.
Yeah, I did notice
You
that.
don't like them, right? Don't worry.
I don't dislike them.
It took me a while. Don't get me. I've got my.
Yeah, no, I don't dislike them. It's just different, right?
Look, don't stress everybody. Everyone be cool and be calm. I got the exact same other pair as well because I had to get two pairs. In Specsavers, you get 2 for 1. So I was like,
God.
I got my exact same with a better prescription. The exact same pair that I usually wear to not freak people out. But at home, I've been wearing these ones. They're super lightweight. But I just I
You
expect
prefer those.
I just expected some sort of Creshism, just sort of a Crash being
I
Crash.
noticed
I
it.
expected
I
I
didn't
expected
dislike
I
it,
expected the what the is that on your face, bruh?
The shade. You expected the shade.
I did. The beanie is just to keep me warm. I'm very cold all of the time at the moment, so the beanies and Insert Coin sent me new Rainbow Six clothing, so shout out to
Gotta rep.
them. So we didn't even have to, but it was just a case of I'm cold. I'm cold, so I'm wearing this. Let's jump into Fixer's Sack. This is where you can email him, myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com. Obviously, along with that, you can write us questions on Twitter, at MCFixer, at Kreshnik, and of course, at myxboxandme with the hashtag MXAM. This one was taken from my Discord as well, which you're all welcome to come and join. Reactive Dragon says, like God of War became the face of PlayStation's first party last generation, what do you think will be the face of Xbox's first party at the end of this one? Who would you like it to be? This is a great question.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Who would I like it to be compared to who do I think it will be is two different things in my opinion. So
Same.
I think for me, if Kratos is PlayStation's, right, and they've been through a plethora. They've had Crash, I would say Crash and Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, I would have said were poster childs for PlayStation for a long, long time. Is that fair to say? Would you agree with that or not?
I'd probably go more Crash and Spyro. I don't
Really?
know.
Tomb Raider was maybe that's a European thing. Lara Croft was
Yeah.
humongous.
It could also just be like a absolutely me thing because
Yeah.
like when I was a kid, it was absolutely just Crash and Spyro. So it could just be that like
So
were to just like,
that was early stages of PlayStation. Then I think we moved up into I would say I'm not a PlayStation guy, but I would have went with like Sackboy and Little Big Planet Sackboy, right? Yeah, Sackboy and
Uncharted probably.
Nathan Drake, thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. Nathan Drake, and then they transitioned now into the PS4, which I would say Kratos is definitely up there. God of War is the poster child for what PlayStation can do. For me, I would love to see it be. I was thinking about this one where I was like, maybe if the initiative is working on a perfect Dark game, their lead protagonist could become the face of what Xbox is. I'd love it to be obviously Kate as well from Gears because I think she's a great one.
Right.
Powerful woman figure that just with a great game behind her as well in Gears War and Gears as a series. What about you? Have you got any that come straight to mind?
I would actually really like it to be Halo, like a return to like glory for Halo, like how Halo used to be received, because I think that would be just in general great for Microsoft because Halo has the people know enough about Halo that when they start seeing it and more people are talking about it, it's not something new to them. It's like, oh, Halo again. It's similar to God of War, where it was sort of this brand new experience for people on PlayStation with the PS4 with God of War. I think that would be really dope. So
are you saying Halo as like new characters in Halo? Or are you saying Master Chief specifically? Yeah.
Master Chief
He's
specifically.
always for me. The only problem with that is all Xbox have. So I'd love for them
Yeah,
to write like some. I'd love for there to actually be a decent character that we cared about in State of Decay, the new game, or in the new Fable.
right.
We're gonna get a dope ass character that
Yeah,
becomes it. Like I want it to be something new from the new teams, and obviously there's a bunch of other teams working on things that we don't know about, like even Everwild. I'd love it to be something we don't know, and because Master Chief's never done it for me, ever. As
yeah,
like I know he's the face of Xbox. I know he's the guy. I know people. Even if you don't know what Xbox is, you know Master Chief probably by looking at him.
yeah.
So
Um,
I don't know if we're gonna get anything bigger than that, but I would love it to be
yeah.
something newer. Yeah.
For me, it would. For me, I just want it to be something that Microsoft sort of has that's innately theirs and has been theirs, right? So even a Fable, right? If Fable ends up being like the face, I'd be absolutely fine with that. It's just I want it to be something that is Microsoft has had for a while that is definitively Microsoft.
Mm,
Be that even Kate, I'd be fine with Kate as well, right?
yeah.
Just something that is definitively Microsoft. And Master Chief is the one that obviously just right away comes to the head that is most identifiable, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Next question comes in from Paul Despawn and says, now that Halo has been confirmed to not have any showing at the Game Awards next month, when do you think we'll see it next? Sorry. I don't think we see Halo again until June, July. To start ramping it up, the marketing for it back to come out October, November.
Um, I actually think we see it in January or February.
Okay, early
'Cause
21.
I don't yeah, I don't know if you've read the statement they made,
I
but
haven't.
the statement they made was very much so, that they're not trying to mess up with, like, their holiday schedule for work and stuff like that,
Mm.
and so the way it reads is sounds like that they will have something early next year. I don't think it'll be anything super crazy. I think what they show is really important to show when they're, like, looking for a release date, so I don't really think we'll see that much because I don't think the release date will be close. I do think it'll be later on in the year.
I don't
Um,
think you get Halo until October, November.
yeah, agreed. Because
Like,
I think at this point, like it has to be a home run, right? It has to
I
be
don't
out
think
of
it's
the
even that. I think it's that on top of the fact of think about how many people are going to want consoles again. On top of holiday period, it's a great holiday game to sell with a bundle. It's a game to move consoles. It's like
It's very true.
that's the time to sell it again. It's not a case of when it's done, when it's ready, like it's time to go out. It's now it comes down to business, which is how are we
Yeah,
going to shift more consoles. The way you're going to do that is with Halo. We know that for a fact because people love
yeah,
Halo. It's like, so the holiday period, October, November, September, October, November. I think September's too early though. So October, November is where you see it, and then they start pushing the marketing behind it along with all the new consoles that they have in stock.
yeah. It is important to note also that they have made comments about like possibly releasing the multiplayer separately from the campaign. So there is a possibility that you get the multiplayer at an earlier date and sort of a big campaign push towards the end of the year with a special console and
I
stuff
hope
like
they
that.
don't do that. I really hope they do that.
Yeah, I feel like if they were to do that, it would sort of splinter the hype for the game a little bit too much.
I think
Whereas if you have it coming out all at
every
once,
streamer in the world cares about. I know we already know that some people don't care about the single player anyway, but
yeah,
you still need everyone talking about it at one time, in
yeah,
my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just a small town pizza lawyer, you know?
yeah.
I'm not. I'm definitely not that. Moving on, Little Smitty has this to say. It says, with it being days, is it days? Until Cyberpunk is released. Is it days?
Yeah. It's over a
Still
week.
over a week, right? I was going to
Yeah.
say. With it being days until Cyberpunk is released, I guess it's still a number of days. What are you
Yeah.
hoping to get from the game? I want a game that has the same cultural impact that The Matrix had for movies. I want people to be talking about this game in 10 years. And do you think this game can live up to the hype? Will Cyberpunk be the redeeming quality of this dystopian 2020 we are currently suffering through? Can I just say on the top before we nothing, if you have the expectations of it to be that, you're going to be extremely let down.
Yeah. I don't think
I don't. I've never.
have the
I've never. I've never had that ever,
yeah,
ever. Have
no.
I had something built up so highly that I'm like, people better be talking about this thing for the next 10 years.
It better
Like,
have the cultural impact of the Matrix.
the Matrix.
I think that's a really big ask for the game.
Um,
I hope that's not what most people are expecting out of the game.
no, me either. Me either. But what am I expecting from the game? I'm expecting a deep-ass RPG that is going to blow my socks off in ways that I'm not even ready for. That there's going to be so many different ways to play it. There's going to be so many different branch trees. There's going to be ways for me to role play in it. Again, from what I saw at EGX a year ago. Again, we didn't. No, but yeah, we didn't have one this year. Yeah, a year ago. That's right. Yeah, for me, I'm just like, I don't have it to that level. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. But I'll be honest, I'm in this very weird place now, Chris, which a place I hate being, which you'll know, which is like, I've got too much to play.
Yeah.
I just got sent my Phoenix Rising Inhumans code. Got that. I've got Assassin's Creed. I have not touched. You know how much I love Assassin's Creed, especially the new games. I've not even been able to touch it yet. What else have I got? Watch Dogs I've not beat. Cold War I've got not touched. Like I've got everything, and I'm just sat there like, when am I gonna get to any of you? Like I've got no energy to get to any of you. And yeah, don't get me wrong, I've got an excuse. I went for an operation. Everyone chill the heck out. Yeah, Cyberpunk, I'm just like, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're coming. I can't wait to play you. But I'm looking forward to it. But like, I'm more looking forward to it in January. Like,
you're kind of like, maybe they delay it one more time.
They won't. They won't. God damn it!
Yeah,
damn it! So. No. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I can't wait for it. I just think if you go in with the expectations of you're expecting something to be a cultural phenomenon, can you name me the last game that had an impact on gaming that's lasted 10 years? I can't name you something.
Crisis, because it was poorly optimized.
No, not memeing wise though.
Yeah,
like I can't name you a game that. No, and when you say have a cultural impact like The Matrix, like that's I remember when The Matrix came out. Like it was like, is it real? Is it fake? Is the Matrix was so. People still talk about The Matrix today, where it's like we could be living in the Matrix. It's like you're just not getting that. And films are easier to do that in because they're easier to digest. This is going to be a 100-hour game.
Yeah,
Matrix is a 2-hour film.
Yeah. I also think that in general we live in a much more faster time period where people get over and are on to the next thing quicker, especially when it comes to games, right?
Absolutely.
As soon as the next big game comes out, like there's a very big chance that you're not going to be talked about as much, right? You'll be swallowed up by the release schedule. And I think no matter how big Cyberpunk is, at some point it will fall to that. I don't think there's a big chance that it has a 10-year cultural impact.
Yeah. And to add on to, can it be the redeeming quality of this dystopia 2020? It's funny, me and Haley were talking about this. So, if I told you 2 days before I got put in hospital and had to have the op, right? I was just saying to Haley how, man, 2020's been sucky, but been a good year for me. Crash, can you imagine? Xbox come by, they knock on your door, they're like, here's an Xbox.
Yeah.
Then PlayStation come by and knock on your door and go, here's a PlayStation. And all the toys to go with it, right?
Yeah.
And you know what God said to me? I'm not a religious person, by the way. God said to me, sit the fuck down, boy. You sit the fuck down. Remember
your place.
Swear to you, Crash. I'm not a religious person, but I believe that. Which is, sit the hell down, relax. I'm gonna give you a little shock that you're almost gonna die. Yeah, like don't get it twisted. You're almost 30 minutes longer, you dead. Like there's no two ways about it. But I'm not gonna kill you. But you better remember this moment. All right, you better remember, yeah. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
bruh. So can it be I mean it depends how much weight you put into video games, I'd say, Lil Smitty. Of
Yeah.
can it restore? I think you've got a beautiful, I know Lil Smitty personally, you got a beautiful baby, you got a beautiful wife. I think they've been the redeeming qualities of 2020, not Cyberpunk. But hey, what do I know?
Teach their own.
I'm just a guy that talks on the internet. Let's jump into what's been in our box, Crash. I know you said you've played nothing, correct?
Yeah. Before I really started getting sick, I did play some of Destiny 2, which I don't think I talked about on the
No, I don't think we
podcast at
did.
all.
No, I was getting ready to
Yeah.
come back and then died. So
Yeah.
then my appendix was like, do you know what? From a
yeah,
seed,
no, you
from
don't
a
got time for
seed,
Destiny.
from a seed, Crash, a seed
Really?
from a. Just go on, carry on. Talk about Destiny. Talk about Destiny.
Destiny, it's more Destiny. Like it's cool. The new abilities do change up the sandbox a little bit.
Mm.
I don't think it changes it as much as I wanted. I think the stasis ability and like freezing enemies and all that stuff is really cool. Kudos to Bungie because the powers were super OP in PvP, and they usually have this really bad track record of if it's OP in PvP, they just nerf it to hell across the board in PvE as well. And they did a really good effort into trying to balance it strictly PvE side, with the exception of Warlocks who were a little bit overtuned.
Okay.
Um, but it was cool. It was more Destiny in terms of like the way they tell their story and everything. If you don't like the way they tell their story, I don't think they change it drastically in this enough for you to sort of be like, wow, I really love Destiny now or anything
Yeah.
like that. If you're a Destiny fan, I think it's a good experience. It's a great
It was
experience,
more
especially
content, right? That's sort
yes.
of the for all the I don't think I give it a shit really, but for a lack of a better term, like for all the complaining I've done about Destiny, which is like I hate the way it tells its story, and I just don't think it's that interesting. For people that do care, they keep putting out content. And for the games
Yeah.
that I actually care about, Anthem, and things like that, like we didn't get any more content. Like, so
Yeah.
you've got to give credit where it's due, which is the fact of they keep producing content for that game, and they know their
Yeah.
audience relatively well. And it sounds like they fixed a few things that may have been broken beforehand, or whatever the case may be. So that's yeah, you got to give credit where it's due at the end of the day.
Yeah. And it's also like it's on Game Pass if you're playing on Xbox console.
Yep.
And I know they did talk about PC Game Pass. I don't know where that'll go and if it'll end up making its way on there, but that's also like really huge.
Mm.
That if you haven't been playing Destiny for a while and you do normally play on PC, they do have cross save where you can transfer your saves onto Xbox, so you still have a way like, oh, I haven't played for a while, but now I can continue my game on Xbox, which is really cool.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I've been playing more NBA 2K. Again, I know absolutely nobody gives a crap about that. But I've just made the starting lineup, and it's very important to me. So I hope you guys continue to not care about me talking about NBA.
Well,
But I'm in the starting lineup for the Lakers now. So
okay,
me,
nice.
LeBron. I will be honest, AD's injured right now. So for people who don't know who Anthony Davis is, he's like one of the best players in the league. He's injured for the team, so I think that's why I got the starting lineup role right now. But I don't care because I still got it.
You gotta work your ass off now and make sure you keep that spot.
I don't play same position as him, but
Okay,
but
got it.
you know.
Yeah.
This week's dashboard. So we're getting into the news this week. Microsoft has acknowledged that the Xbox Series X and S performance issues. In a statement issued to The Verge, Microsoft said it's working with developers to quote resolve the issue. Quote, we're aware of the performance issues in a handful of optimized titles on the Xbox Series X and S, and are actively working with our partners to identify and resolve the issue to ensure an optimal experience, said Microsoft. As we begin with a new console generation, our partners are just now scratching the surface of what next-gen consoles can do, and minor bug fixes are expected as they learn how to take full advantage of our new platform. We are eager to continue working with developers to further explore the capabilities of the Xbox Series X/S in the future. Scratch, I don't know if you saw any of this. I've not really been able to see much, but my brother-in-law's messaged me to check on me, and he said, "Hey, just be aware when you start playing Cold War that it crashes your console continuously." Like,
Oh, I didn't
absolutely,
see that.
yeah, continuously just keeps crashing his console. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, good, thanks for the heads up, because I would have been panicking. Yeah, I've heard COD's been bricking Xbox Series X's altogether.
Yeah.
And I've heard the main reason for these performance issues, again, is because developers didn't get dev kits for these consoles as early as they did with the PS5. Hence why they may be looking that much better on the PS5 thus far.
Got it. Yeah. I yeah, I did read that, and that's sort of makes me hopeful for the whole Series S situation and how like it doesn't have ray tracing for Devil May Cry and all this stuff. It makes me a little bit hopeful that that's more so the reason as opposed to like anything super significant.
Wishful thinking, mate.
Um,
Wishful thinking.
I think so, yeah. But I will say like as far as like the consoles needing updating, I don't know if there's been a console update. I'm assuming there has been, and I haven't updated it yet. Um, I had quite a few games that didn't work with quick resume for me.
I've heard that as
Like
well. There's a few games that are not using the quick resume feature.
yeah, like Yakuza Like a Dragon didn't work for me. Watch Dogs didn't work for me. I think the only games that worked for me were Apex, Overwatch. I forget what other game, but they were basically all games that needed to connect online to actually quick resume. So like you quick resume and then you connect to the server. So it's like
It's a pain.
it gets you in faster
Yeah,
definitely, but
yeah.
it's not really as quick as you'd hope. So that was one thing that I noticed. I don't know if they fixed that, but like them putting out this statement does make me sort of like, okay, that's something that's going to be fixed. It's not just something like the Series S can't do or whatever. Because I remember I had that issue, and then I asked you, are you able to quick resume these games? And you're like, yeah, I can do it just fine. I did it plenty of times. So
Yeah, yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm here like, I don't know. Did I? Maybe I don't know. Dude, I like looking at I'm in my bed most of the time at the moment, right? And I just look at my consoles and go, nope, nope,
can't.
nope.
Yeah,
I
no.
haven't got the energy, man, at all. One game that might finally get me out of bed to play it though is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which now offers a 30 FPS next-gen performance option. Ubisoft today released the first post-patch for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, bringing the game to the version 1.0.4. It includes bug fixes, quality of life updates, and perhaps most importantly, options to manually choose between visual and performance options on the Microsoft's new console. These options are available on the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and the Xbox Series S, and, quote, adapts the resolution and graphics settings to maintain 60 FPS for performance mode, or enable the game to run at the maximum resolution and graphical settings while maintaining 30 FPS for quality mode. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X versions of the game are both set in performance mode. The Series S is also, the Series S is set in quality mode. All this is in addition to, quote, improved stability and performance, generally and specifically improvements to improve experiences on the Xbox Series X and S consoles while including screen tearing. So, that's a good thing, obviously, giving people more options, which is super, super key. I'm happy. I'm happy that this is obviously here. I'm happy that I'll have the option. I mainly play on frame rate now. Now that I'm starting to understand it a bit more, it's weird. It took the new consoles for me to understand it. But seeing a game from 30 to 60 is just like ridiculous.
You played Spider-Man Miles Morales, right?
I have, yeah, beat it.
Did you?
Made me
So
cry.
that
Made me
has,
cry, Crash. Made me cry.
It was good.
That's
right?
before my op, so I'm more emotional now. I watched an advert the other day and started crying. Just want to put that out there for people.
Okay.
I don't know what operations are at. I don't. This is my first big op. They took something away from me, and I understood that, but I didn't realize that was gonna like absolutely destroy me as a human being. Just thought I'd add that.
You'll get back to where
I hope
you were,
so.
where you don't cry at
I hope so.
anything.
I hope so. But I'm very emotional right now. Very emotional.
So with that, did you play that on performance mode or the other mode?
Which one's 30? Performance.
30 is the
resolution.
no,
Not the resolution. I
resolution.
played the frame rate one. The one that was
Okay.
silky frame rates. Yeah.
I actually think because I played some of it, I actually think that looks better with the ray tracing. Because the ray tracing's only in the
It
30
looks
frames per-
better. It doesn't run better.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the difference. It all comes down to that now, which is, do you want something to look as pretty as possible, or do you want it to
Want
run
it to run better.
as well as it can? And I am very
Yeah.
much of the mind of, I want to be. I love the fact there's the option to do both and just turn it on and off, so I can go, oh,
Yeah.
this looks amazing, but then turn it back off and get back to just steady frame rates all the
Okay.
way through. Yeah, very very important. Next up, Marvel's Avengers hasn't recouped its development cost yet. Marvel's Avengers sales have been lower than expected, and the game hasn't yet recouped its development costs, leading to an estimated 7 billion. I think that's yen. I don't know.
I think so.
I think it's 7
I think you're
billion
correct.
yen, approximately 67 million US dollars, operating loss in Square Enix HD game segment during its last financial quarter. Company president Yosuke Masudi explained. Go on, what do you reckon?
Matsude. I
Matsude.
ye
Okay.
ye
Explained
think
in
so.
a newly translated result briefing, quote, sales of sales of Marvel's Avengers were lower than expected and unable to completely offset the amortization of the game's development costs. Game analysis David Gibson previously estimated the company sold 60% of its planned units, and that the numbers implied the game cost around 100 million to make. Crush, does this surprise you at all?
No, not really.
Mm,
Um, this is a shame to hear though. I'm not surprised, but it really puts a damper on
content.
how quickly they put out content and how long they'll be putting out content.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if like Anthem they had this whole release schedule and then the game just doesn't do enough in terms of sales, and then it's like, well, we're gonna have to cut back somewhere. I think we'll get like the first set of updates pretty regularly in terms of whatever they view as regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I think at some point we're just gonna stop getting content.
And what does this prove, Crush? Doesn't matter what IP you slap on anything. If it isn't a good game, in the
Yeah,
eyes of everybody, it's not going to sell well.
yeah, absolutely. I think like we've talked about it, but this game had a huge identity crisis in what it wanted to be, where it had this really cool campaign and it had this, even in terms of co-op, it had these really interesting ideas, but it didn't really stick to either or and try and like really push it in that direction. That it sort of ended somewhere in the middle ground where you got a cool campaign with some weird features, and then you got a fun co-op that just doesn't do enough, especially in terms of end game and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's a shame because I'm sat there waiting for more content, right? I'm ready to play. I'm looking to enjoy it. I'm waiting for it. I see the Kate Bishop stuff and I'm like, okay, that's not what I want personally.
Yeah.
Um
It,
the
it's
fact
also like with the Kate Bishop stuff is how much content comes with it. Is it just a new character and her one iconic mission? Like I don't think that's
I
enough.
say all this, I still haven't finished all the iconic missions there. So maybe I'm talking crap.
Mhm.
Maybe I am actually talking crap because if I haven't even finished what's there, do I really care?
You wanna know what the problem with you finishing what's there is? That a majority of what's there is just
Stuff I've already
the
done.
same as you've already done. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like rerun it for these to like hit these specific goals. And I don't think that's enough when like what you're working towards isn't, it's not, there's nothing that you're working towards actually running. There is no raid. There
There's
is
no.
no end
That's
game.
wild to me still.
Yeah.
How is there no
Yeah.
raid? I swear
Or
Fortnite's
like
taking down Galactus on Tuesday.
yeah.
What the
Probably.
They are. I think no. Generally, I believe it. I generally mean that. I'm pretty sure there's a world event where they are taking down Galactus. And do you know what upsets me the most about all this, Crush? They
What
killed
upsets you the
Marvel's
most?
Heroes Omega for this.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this
For
yesterday,
this.
and I was like, I like Marvel Heroes Omega is like the perfect game to just jump on and just like mess around with, not
Yep.
really focus. And it had a sense of end game, it had a sense of progression, it had unlocking characters, doing this, that, and the third. And then they pulled the plug on it and they gave us this, and it's like You're missing half the stuff. Like, really, they could have copied the blueprint for that game in terms of, like, the gear system and all that stuff and, like, gotten a pretty decent game. Obviously, like, transition it, into the type of game this is. And
They
it
could
just
they could have done plenty, mate. But
yeah.
if an Avengers game don't work, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this failure means for Disney going forward with Marvel properties, and how they start treating that. Because like if this was a success, there was a really big possibility that they start like here we'll start giving more developers our properties to start making games, and now they might just sort of be like we have to like really look at it and like really be a little bit more stingy with the IPs we give out to people, especially like as far as Disney's concerned. They also had a similar issue with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of stingy, Crash, Red Dead Redemption Online standalone coming in December. Rockstar Games has revealed a standalone version of Red Dead Online, which can be purchased separately from the game's campaign. As of December 1st, players will be able to purchase Red Dead Online on the PlayStation Store, Microsoft Store, Rockstar Launcher, Epic Games Store, and Steam, and the game will cost you just $4.99 at launch as part of its introduction offer, which is 75% off the game. Good idea? Bad idea? Are we ever getting another GTA game ever again? Are we ever getting another Red Dead again? Where are we at?
First of all, we're never getting another GTA game. They're just gonna keep making online content.
Mm.
This is such a weird like I don't know if like the online's under like they've gotten less money from the online than they expected because this is such a weird decision to make for an online that's sort of like still bare bones from my understanding from people who still jump
I
into it
haven't got a
occasionally
clue.
is that it's missing like core features that people assumed would be in the game by now. That this just seems like a money grab. It's just like we're gonna get $5 from a few people. That's all we really want out of this.
I haven't got a clue. I haven't played Red Dead Online since probably the week it came out because I enjoyed the multiplayer. They had a multiplayer mode that I enjoyed, like a like gunfight mode sort of thing. But I just didn't enjoy everything else around it. But again, I didn't love Red Dead either. It was a great. Don't get me wrong. I understand the effort and the story there, but it wasn't to me. It wasn't like GTA, right? I prefer to live in that world than being a cowboy. Yeah, this seems weird, but I also understand it, and I'm not upset by it because they are very much two different things, in my opinion. So as long as that means that they're going to put out the campaign at a cheaper cost as well, then I'm pretty good with it. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed like a weird thing to do. Period. I think this is more for PC players than I think it would be for like console players. But I could be wrong.
It could also be for their idea of like, oh, if somebody wants to transition into a different console. So if they do have Xbox and they're trying to go into PlayStation, there is that sort of ease of entrance, not action, for them to get into Red Dead Online and then start buying the Shark Bucks or
Whatever they are.
Yeah.
You're rooting, tooting, hooting pucks in Red Dead. Who knows?
Whatever they call it.
Yeah. To carry on talking about Rockstar, GTA Online's next heist adds a new island to the world and can be played solo. GTA Online will add the KO. How do I say KO? How would you say that? KO?
Right.
KO, yeah. KO Paserco heist on December 15th, described as GTA Online's biggest heist ever. KO Paserco. Pacifico? Is that right? What do you reckon? Yeah.
I KO Perico.
We'll go with Perico. Adds an entire new island to the game and can be played as a solo experience. And that's with a teaser trailer. The KO Perico heist task players with infiltrating, quote, one of the most secure private islands in the world. Your evade or fight security and escape with vulnerable evidence along with as much art, gold, and drug money as you can carry. Playable either alone or with friends, Cayo Perico, Jesus, will let you choose your approach to the heist and the tools used, and will also feature new vehicles, weapons, social spaces, in-game DJs, and radio stations with over 100 new songs. Oh, please read, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Interesting. You're a weird one with this one, Crash. You're a weird guy, number one. That's the truth. We're not gonna. There's no point lying. You know it. I know it. You know it. The rest of the world knows it. You, Crash, weird.
Okay.
You play GTA Online.
Yes.
But you don't like GTA Online. If I'm online and I'm like, everyone, we're playing poker. You're like, yeah, I'm in. Sit down, come play some poker, no problem. I'm like, Crash, we're doing a heist. You're like, I've got to go wash my hair. I've got to go do anything else. Fix, you want to run around the world and shoot each other? Yes. Crash, would like to a mission? No.
So, my opinion on GTA Online has worsened over the years. My opinion on GTA in general has worsened over the years. Just the more I play it and the more you put me into like a mission setting, the more glaring it becomes. Like the issues with the gun mechanics in that game is that I just don't feel it's up to par with a lot of games. This, like, to be honest though, this is something that I rate. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'd be down to do this. But I know the fact that when I play it, I'm just gonna be like, why'd I do this?
Yep.
Why'd I put myself through this?
You will. I'm gonna play it because I'm very much looking forward to it. At some point, I will get around to playing it. You, on the other hand, you're just gonna complain the whole time.
Probably, yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't. I know people love this game. More power to them. But it hasn't aged well for me.
It's a game from the 360.
Yeah, no, 100%. I 100% understand that. Doesn't mean that it's aged well.
No,
right?
definitely. No, it hasn't aged well. I agree with you. The mechanics. The only thing that stands up still in the game is its weld and its driving. I don't think the driving's that bad. Like some people think it's bad. I actually think it's pretty decent compared to some games that I've played.
I think it's the perfect arcade driving, right? It's not supposed to be a simulator. It's supposed to be more arcadey. It's supposed to be more fun, I guess. Fun's not the right word.
No, I get it.
I'd label it as more fun than a simulator personally. And I think it nails that perfectly. But yeah, I agree. I think that the world's definitely aged well compared to everything. It's probably still one of the best open worlds that you can go through and explore in gaming still.
Agreed. Games with gold this month. This is December's actually, and we'll go through October's, but this will be the last week you can get October's games, but this is December. The Raven Remastered is available December 1st to December 31st. Bleed 2, December 16th to January 15th. Saints Row Get Out of Hell, available December 1st to December 15th. Chris, when are we getting new Saints Row?
Who knows, man?
We need a new Saints Row.
We're going to get a new Saints Row, and it's going to be like Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be disappointed. And I'll be like, I wanted a remake of Saints Row 1 or Saints Row 2.
Give me a remake of the two of them together, though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think if it were to be like a ground up remake, I'd be fine if it was just the first one.
I'd love a ground up remake from the first one, getting beaten up in the streets that beginning.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
The tutorial that started that game. Oh,
yeah.
Just you getting beaten up by gang members. You're like, what the hell is this game? Oh man.
Like the first two like Saints Row games are so good.
Free is good as well, but for different reasons. And then
I agree with that.
And then beyond that, it got a bit weird. And then we got stacking. Available it's December 16th to maybe 31st.
You were so confused by that for a second. Like, it definitely can't be stacking, right? That can't be what I'm reading.
I've got to be honest with you, this is the most I've spoken continuously since I've been out of hospital, so it's kind of getting to me. Last October's games with gold, you have Origami Shadow Edition, available November 1st to November 30th. Swim Sanity, available November 16th to December 15th. Full Spectrum Warrior, available November 1st, November 15th, which you can't get anymore. I apologize. I've just let you down. Lego Indiana Jones, available November 16th to November 30th. Let's plug. A little bit of a short episode this week, I'll be honest. We're 10 minutes shorter than where we need to be, but just bear with us, people. Bear with us. Yeah. Bear with me. Maybe I can only speak. Bear with me. I'm struggling. I'm struggling a little. You know.
You know what? I'm gonna give you kudos. You did better than I thought you were gonna do. You did good with your reading and everything. You know.
I appreciate it. A few normal fixisms, as we like to call them. But I hope I wasn't too off the money this week. I've tried.
No, I think you were a good fix.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not ready to be back on camera, Crash. I'll be honest. I'm on, like, I'm on right now, but, like, thinking about streaming, I'm like...
Nope, can't do it.
Not yet. I'm not ready yet. So, obviously, this will be up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/myxboxandme. Please hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. You can find me everywhere at MC Fixer. If you want to support me financially for a tough time, patreon.com/mcfixer. And obviously that helps keep the lights on for this show, keeps us going, keeps us producing content the best of our ability. Kresh, where can people find you?
At Kreshnik Plays on Twitter. You can follow me there for tweets and stuff. Also, if you guys aren't following the My Xbox and Me Twitter page, you guys should follow it. If you guys for some reason unsubscribed because we didn't do anything on the YouTube page, you guys should
resubscribe. It was 1 week. Jesus Christ. If someone unsubscribed for 1 week was like, yo,
I'm done.
What the hell? It's like, and then didn't even check Twitter to be like, yo, where's Fixer? What the hell? Like, nothing. I'd be super upset. Yeah. Thank you for everyone that has reached out to me in the DMs or if you've tweeted at me. But a lot of my Xbox and Me listeners have. I didn't do a great job of really explaining what I went through, just because it's a weird thing. It's weird, kind of strange to be like, "Hi everyone, this happened," you know. So I will go through it. I think we're going to talk about on my other podcast that I'm going to be doing again, which is Fix and Friends. But that's like a Patreon only show. But if you can get it for $1. So if you do want to hear the story or hear about everything, that will be there. But if you're here just for Xbox content and that, there you go. You got it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, I've been MC Fixer. Here's been Kreshnik, and I will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.